So, just the other day, I was browsing on YouTube and I stumbled across a Tucker Carlson video. And there he was talking about the differences between equity and equality. And what he said was, in his view, okay, which was quite a unique perspective. I've not really had that perspective before. What he said was, equity is more like the elite of Europe or the United Kingdom back in the day versus American Constitution that followed, and how people from the ruling class were always just there based on zero achievements or no achievements whatsoever. They didn't have any accolade that allowed them to ascend to those areas apart from being the son of a king or the daughter of a king. While when it came to the American Constitution, it was all about people rising up in rank from nothing, achieving what they needed to achieve and getting prominence that way. And they made a comparison between Kamala Harris and Andrew Jackson. And it was like Kamala Harris achieved nothing. She achieved absolutely nothing, but yet she found a way to somehow gain prominence because of reasons, like because she's black or half black or whatever. And when it came to Andrew Jackson, on the other hand, both of them are Democrats, by the way. Andrew Jackson rose to prominence because of all his achievements. Even from having nothing, he achieved a lot and he rose to prominence. Now, that is a rather unique explanation. I've not really heard that form of analysis before, and I think I like it. However, my thoughts on the whole idea has not been made clear because I've not really spoken on this topic before. So, my thoughts on equity versus equality. Equity is dangerous not because it's really, in my opinion, a form of unfairness being masked as fairness. No, it's dangerous because it does not equate differences as it claims. It annihilates differences. There's a difference between saying, okay, men and women are different, okay, but they are potentially the same and so should be given the same equality. There's a difference between saying that and saying there is no difference between men and women. Just like there is a difference with saying the poor and the rich are on different financial terms, but they are still human beings and should all work under the same fairness, that to make sure that one is not cheating the other or pushing the other down. That's very different from saying there is no difference between the poor and the rich, and so every money the rich makes should be given to the poor automatically, regardless of what the situations were between both of them, or whether one worked harder and so gained more money while the other didn't, right? There is a difference between trying to find out whether rich people are cheating the system and placing poor people on the back leg. That is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that is called equality because you want to make sure that both sides have equal shot at being successful. That is very different from saying automatically because the people that are making more money are rich. That means that they are being bad. That means it's unfair. And therefore we should take the money from the rich one and give to the poor one. And I think I know a word for that. It's called communism. Okay. Now, do I have a problem with the idea of socialism as a whole? Not really. I mean, there's a lot of bad things that are in socialism, but in theory, some of the systems we use today, whether we like it or not, are socialist systems. I mean, taxes is one of them. You could make an argument that taxes is all about, having to regulate money in such a way that it helps everybody, so but everybody has to put money into the system, but that's not really true. Right? And not everybody pays taxes because everybody can't pay taxes. So we have taken taxes from people that have to distribute it across everybody, including people that don't have. That is a form of socialism. Is that bad? No, I can't lie, right? Because taxes do help a lot in many ways. Now, the problem is not with the taxes, the problem is with what people in power do with the taxes. Topic for another day, okay? But right now we're talking about equity. Now, the argument can be made that equity is that tax is a form of equity. And to some extent it is, okay? To some extent it is. But in totality, it's really not. Because majority of people pay taxes, right? And yes, the ones that can't pay taxes get money, right? That they may not have worked for. So it's kind of like you don't really have a choice in who gets the money. But I mean, it's a nice thing to do if somebody really is struggling and your money gets given to them. I don't think that's much of a problem. What I think the problem is how people manage taxes and what extra stuff they use it for. And the fact that the people in power don't use taxes, don't make good use of the taxes, and instead they try to use it to enrich themselves, okay? So I can understand equity from that point of view, but that is not just equity, that is a form of equity, right? But we are talking about total equity, where there's no form of equality. I don't mean equity in taxes, I mean equity all around. That is a fucking terrible idea, because what you are then saying is you're going on to say that, yo, listen, okay, the people that are rich, only the people that are rich, by the way, that's what I mean. Total equity means the people that are rich have to pay the people that are poor just because they are rich. That is a problem, okay? That is a massive problem, and I have a problem with that, because what you're saying is that you don't get to work for your stuff. You shouldn't work for your stuff. You are owned money. You are entitled to money. To me, that is a problem, especially when you're talking about the whole idea of people being responsible and taking responsibilities into their own hand. You don't force somebody else to pay for your shit, okay? But the left keep framing the arguments that way, and that is one of my major issues with the left. They make it look like they're trying to help these people. They're not. I mean, look what affirmative action has done. It doesn't really help anybody, right? That's a form of equity. It's not fair. It's not like taxes, where at least the taxes is being used for everybody and everybody is using the money. That's why I said I wouldn't consider it as total equity, but it is a form of equity, which some might like, some might not like. I don't really have too much thoughts about it. I just think that it's been run badly, okay? But that's not what they're doing. They're trying to make it such a way that it's communism, that where somebody pays and other people don't. That is literally, slavery to some extent, right? So you have to think about these things. You have to think these things through before you talk about these kind of topics. It's not as easy as just, the rich is rich, they can afford it. It doesn't work like that, because also make no mistake. Just like poor people also, there's a good amount of poor people that pay taxes even when they don't have money. Eventually, it will come and haunt you, to come back and bite you. I mean, do you really think the left give a fuck about that? I mean, they don't want their money slashed. They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they would not give that money to poor people. It's just not going to happen. But yet, they're claiming that they're fighting for poor people. Do you see the hypocrisy in this nonsense? Anyway, this is what I've got to talk about today, and I will see you guys later.